How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Fear Street, The Surprise Party. This is written by R.L. Stine and is the second book in the Fear Street series. This came out in 1989. And if you guys have been keeping up with the channel, you know that I'm kind of new to this series. This is the fourth book that I've read overall, and is actually the second book in this modern Fear Street The Beginning bind-up. If you guys want to collect and read Fear Street, this has the first 4 books in it for only $12.99. Pretty cool. But I was lucky enough to be digging through my used bookstore, and I actually found this on sale for $2, and I thought, hey, I can't resist picking up the original cover. The original Fear Street covers have all this really cool paintings on them, and we get this nice haunted house next to the Fear Street woods, and this threatening figure coming up to it, and was the tagline, "It was just another party until the threats began." So cool to pick this up really cheap, and I am glad to pick up the original cover. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about this book's plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but that being said, I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what the book's about, and you know, not going to cover the ending, but I will slow down and analyze a few things. Anyway, we open up with Meg, and Meg is really excited because her best friend, who moved away from Shadyside, is coming back to visit. And she's so excited, she wants to throw Ellen a surprise party, hence the title of the book. However, Ellen moved away under some strange circumstances. You see, way in the past, Ellen was dating Evan. There's quite a few characters in the book, so I really do like that this is like the E couple, Ellen and Evan. Helps you remember who goes together. But anyway, Ellen was dating Evan, but Evan died. He was found shot in the Fear Street woods, Ellen cradling him in her arms. It was apparently an accident, an accidental misfire of his rifle, and all in all, the police and everything seemed to move on from it. Meg's weird cousin was actually the one that found the two. He was in the woods playing a Dungeons and Dragons-like game, and he heard the gunshot and found the two of them there, and ever since he saw that traumatic event, he retreated further and further into the fantasy world. Now, after this, a year has passed, Ellen's coming back, Meg's throwing the surprise party, and it turns out someone really doesn't like this. She's going to get a bunch of threats over the phone, she's going to work hard on these invitations during her study hall period, and then someone's going to cut them all up. And no one in the class noticed who did it. But then things will get more serious as the killer tries to run her over on a rainy night. And yeah, overall, she's being threatened to stop the party. But Meg is very stubborn. She wants to throw this party, and she doesn't want whoever's doing this to get away with it, and she's gonna try to solve the mystery. It definitely has something to do with Evan's death, but what could it be? It's pretty obvious the death was no accident, but she had 3 friends there. One of them died. She has the cousin and her best friend that moved away, and there may have been more people there that she just doesn't know about. Yeah, a mysterious crime that happened a year ago. Kind of getting a little bit of I Know What You Did Last Summer vibes out of this one. Now, overall, I thought the story was pretty cool. It really kept me interested, but I do know the general fan reception for this one was it was good, but definitely had its faults. And it's not a lot of people's favorite book or anything. And the thing is, though, it does have faults and it does have strange story structure, but I think I kind of liked it because of that. And even though this is odd, I still thought it was pretty fun. First of all, R.L. Stine tells you much more than he tells Meg. He tells you right pretty early on that Evan's death was no accident, and then later on after that, after the rainy night, Meg almost getting hit by a car scene, we get a little bit inside the killer's head, and we get to know just in how much of a messed up spot he is. And Stine will constantly tell us just a little bit more than Meg knows, so even though we know more of this than she does, we get that sort of tension where we know how much danger Meg is in, and hoping she survives and going, oh no, she probably shouldn't do that. But even though before the third act, Stine does tip a lot of the mystery's hand, there still is plot elements you wouldn't expect. There's some crazy out of nowhere things that do happen towards the end of this, and it almost felt like an old Giallo movie. I don't know if you guys know Giallo. They were these intense Italian murder mystery movies that would later go on to inspire slashers. But in old Giallo movies, you would get scenes from the killer's perspective, and you'd get fun out of nowhere twists and turns near the end. So it really did have kind of that Giallo feel, at least to me it did. And I did like just, you know, a few of the wacky reveals towards the end. I also like, you know, like Meg, she's described as being sweet, good-natured, and everyone's like, oh, Meg, you're nice, you're a good kid. But we really see just how freaking stubborn she is. And really, the killer should have used a different approach, because the moment she knows she's being threatened and she shouldn't do this, that makes her want to do it more and makes her more determined to figure out who's doing this, because they can't get away with it. And I did find that kind of funny, you know, this sweet, innocent character that clearly has another stubborn part to her. But yeah, this party really wasn't the best idea, and Meg will kind of see that towards the end of the novel. But Evan, Ellen's boyfriend, was found dead in the Fear Street woods. They're throwing this party in a house on Fear Street. This big old house that was being refurbished. I think it was something like the dad helped with the refurbishment and he was able to get them to lend the house out to them to party in or something. But your friend's boyfriend was found dead in the Fear Street woods. You're gonna throw a party for her in a haunted house on Fear Street, really close to the woods. Yeah, this wasn't exactly the best idea. And, you know, Meg will make a few bad decisions. You know, she'll find one of her friends that she's a little suspicious of and then just start accusing them. And they get, of course, really mad. And, you know, she pushes things too far. Her boyfriend gets upset with her. And you really see she is a little too dogmatic about this mystery. So, yeah, kind of a fun little flawed character there that I wonder, you know, if it was intentional or just for the purposes of the story or what. But I do want to say, you know, the Fear Street books aren't the scariest thing ever, but this one definitely did have its moments. Like I said, being inside the killer's head was pretty disturbing, but I also really did like there's a Lost in the Woods scene in this book where she goes into the woods and the person's she thought she was with just kind of wander in opposite directions of her. And all of a sudden, almost without warning, you're alone in the dark Fear Street woods at night, and you're lost. The woods scene in this book is really good and really creepy. You know, you gotta have Fear Street as this really cool location, but I do like, you know, kind of mapping it out. There's the regular houses on Fear Street. There's like a big mansion, which isn't even the mansion they go to in the book, I don't think. and then there's the woods and the graveyard. I really do want to see that graveyard. That sounds like a really cool location. And I think there's a creek that runs nearby. I don't know if anyone's made a map, but that would be interesting to see a Fear Street map and put all the houses that are referenced in the book on it. That would be fun. But anyway, this also does have a pretty good humanity behind the story, seeing how this one character's death impacted all these other people in all these different ways, and how over the course of the year all these people think about how their lives are different. There's also this really good human thing where her best friend is coming back after a year, and can you really rekindle a relationship that's been stagnant for a long time? And that sort of feeling like, you know, this is a really good friend, I love them, can I really pick up where I left off? And also for you guys who like characters, Corey and Lisa, the main characters from the first Fear Street book, the new girl, actually do make an appearance in this book. They're not the biggest characters, but they're friends of Meg, and you get to see them pop up from time to time, and you know, they'll talk to each other or be at a party or something. And it is really cool to see Corey and Lisa pop up, even if they aren't the biggest, most important characters here. Definitely a fun connection. But overall, I know this book is flawed and a little off, but I don't know, I still really liked it. I thought it was fun. I liked the mystery being a little bizarre and crazy, and really unexpected turns along the way. So yeah, not the best thing ever, but still, I don't know, it's one that I had fun with, and I definitely recommend it. But yeah, that being said, halfway through this big bind-up, I have this, and I have a few other random loose ones. I don't know if I'll jump into the Overnight next, that's the third one in here, or I might pick up one of the other random ones. I don't know. But I do plan on reading more of this really soon. All these books are pretty fun, and I'm glad I started this series, and I'm going to try to stay on them and read them pretty quick. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll put a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my R.L. Stine playlist, where you can find my reviews of Runaway, The New Girl, and Secret Admirer. I also talked about the movies, which I watched before I read the books, and I also have a review for R.L. Stine's comic Stuff of Nightmares, an anthology comic, the first series of which was a sort of ode to Frankenstein and Reanimator. Definitely check out Stuff of Nightmares. I hope the trade gets here soon. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. If you want to see more, Stine playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now, guys.